We're visiting the Miller Havens Gallery located at 9 JFK Street. So here we are on JFK Street in Harvard Square. And it's kind of a beautiful afternoon. It's not sunny, but it's really warm. And we're going to visit our friend Susan Miller Havens. Hey Susan, how are you? So my friend, look at this place. It's beautiful.
Isn't it wonderful?
It really is.
It's a great space.
So tell us a little bit about it, please.
So this is a space that I have for a short period of time, but I'm very fortunate because my studio is on the top floor, and it's very unusual for an artist to have a storefront space. So this is something that our landlord, Regency, has given me for the next number of months.
Very nice.
That's my gift.
And your gift to us is a 20-year selection of artwork, yes?
Right. So why don't we walk around just a little bit? So the way this is a combination of 4 different series. So when you have 4 different series like this, it's very difficult to hang it as a show because it's really not a show. It's really what was often called a salon. And so it's an assortment of paintings, and they're hung according to the way they look good on the wall, not according to the way they were made in their series.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about this one. Who is this?
Well, that is an individual who was a catcher and a manager in baseball, and I did his portrait a number of years ago, and then when I was visiting in spring training, I noticed that when he stretched out with all of his gear on, which is kind of unusual. But what interested me was the fact that he looked like a still life, except he's alive.
Mm.
And so it dawned on me that that was true of a lot of equipment that had just been used. So catcher's mitts, that glove of his was sort of moist inside. So I decided to invent a term which I call alive still lifes. And I painted a whole series of masks that had been used over the years with sweat and cracks on them and stuff. And then the last one was I painted this. So this whole series is called Alive Still Lifes. It's really not about baseball.
Mm-hmm. Even though he looks like he's New York. Is that New York?
No, that was me using whatever color I wanted to. He's really St. Louis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great. And what about the rest of the collection here?
So these in this selection, again, because there's some abstract painting in here that was from another series, these were all hung according to how it might work off the big abstract. There are many ways to do it. We did it with patterns. We cut out pieces of paper on the floor, and then we put them all over the walls, and we just kept changing them up. So the only rhyme and reason in here is a wall that gives you a whole picture.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And as we move around this are we calling it a gallery or a salon? What are we calling
Well,
this
it's
space?
a gallery.
A gallery
with a salon
space.
show in it.
A salon
Yeah.
show in the gallery.
That's right.
I love that. So over here you have an interesting, these round
the
portraits.
condos, right.
Yeah.
So that is what's left from the series called We Are Not Privy. And I have a background in psychology, and I've always been interested in people, and therefore people are often my subjects. And I also like the idea that we don't know who these women are, we never will, and we don't know what they're talking about. So a woman who owns the 4th in this series in Colorado has it in her dining room, and what she's told me is that whenever she has a dinner party, she never has to worry about conversation because people are sitting there making up stories about who those women are. And it's in Venice, Italy, actually. And
So were these real women that you...
These are real women, and I sat in a plaza on a Sunday for hours watching them and a few others, and there was something about them that intrigued me. And I chose the tondo because the tondo is the shape that is used in a lot of old Italian paintings. So that the challenge was to fit them all into the tondo. That isn't exactly the way it's not exactly the way they were. It's the way I made them to fit into it.
It's beautiful, and and I feel the same way when I'm here and I see them, and when I saw them in your office on the third floor. They're beautiful and provocative, and you just step back wondering, what are they talking about? And you do want to be privy to what's going on. There's some drama, obviously.
Something, although, because we're in Italy, it may be that they're just trying to decide where to go to lunch.
I love that. It's great.
We don't know.
It's great, yeah.
We really don't know. And there are another two women over here who I just love, because the lady on the right seems, my guess is that she's a very patient friend, and the woman on the left is not terribly happy, and she's going to sit it out with her. And that particular painting won an award in New York, which was really nice, and not because of getting the award. I mean, the award is nice, but it has more to do with the fact that people were moved by it.
Yes.
And that's really one of my objectives. Not everything moves somebody, and the painting is really another language. What I'm trying to do is to say to you what I see and what I hope that you'll see that is subtle in life, and sometimes goes unnoticed. So although some of my paintings have some action in them, most of them are another look at a moment in time that we often miss.
Yes. So Susan, you have something hanging in the National Gallery?
In the National Portrait Gallery.
In the National Portrait Gallery down in Washington, D.C.
So I have two pieces in the Portrait Gallery.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is a very abstract piece, the most of Carlton Fisk, and the most recent is the portrait of Pedro Martinez. And we actually have a book over here that I put out just for fun. His mother does not speak any English, so I made her a book of the unveiling of the painting of Pedro, and I had it translated into Dominican Spanish.
Oh, that's so nice of you.
But I think, it's a huge honor to have a portrait in the National Portrait Gallery. But the other part of this particular piece is that the Portrait Gallery hasn't had that many Hispanic people in it because you have to be a resident of the United States. And it turned out that Pedro is a resident of the United States. You also have to have given back to the United States in a substantial, significant way. And so they have to decide it. They might like a painting, but the curators might like it, but if the Smithsonian or the boards that make these decisions don't think the person qualifies, then it doesn't get in. So the upshot of this is that the people who donated the painting, generously donated the painting, is that they said that they wanted it in there so that more Hispanic kids would come into a museum. And that's actually what's happened. Not only that, but now they have a Hispanic curator of art. So the other part of my interest in art is an educational one, and getting young people into museums, kids who have never seen art. I had a visitor here last week who's a Ringian Latin student, and she takes some kinds of art courses at school, and she's working in the square to earn enough money to take her exams and to get her driver's license. And she told me that even though we have the Harvard Art Museums here, that she's never been to a museum. And she's come in here twice now. And that's really thrilling.
It is.
It really is.
Yes. And we must get her to one of the Harvard museums, particularly
Yes,
the New Art Museum is
we do.
just extraordinary.
I know. I asked her and she said, I don't have enough time. I just go to school and I work.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I encouraged her. I think she may not have known that they're free for Cambridge residents too. So
Does she know that now?
I don't know. I'll have to see if she comes back.
If she comes back,
She'll
we'll
be
have to.
back.
If she comes back, we have to make sure she knows that.
Yeah.
So before we part company here, I've noticed there's a lot of activity out there on JFK Street. Does it inspire you?
It's fascinating. It's really, really fascinating to see what goes on out there. I don't know. Does it inspire me about the people, you mean, in terms of...
I was just wondering if you saw a particular character that you might like to paint one day.
I don't know. You know, we've been so busy setting up. I mean, we've sort of been people gawking ourselves. I have a wonderful assistant who is here at the School of Education, and we've just been amazed by what's going on outside. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
It's great. So the hours of operation are?
So the hours of operation are really pretty dependent on our staffing situation. So what we've done is we've left a message on our answering machine at 617-576-2206, and we're just doing it weekly.
Good.
And
Excellent.
we're really excited to have people come in around the holidays, and we're going to host some events here with the Harvard Square Business Association and maybe with some musicians. And we really want, actually, part of the point in this wonderful thing that happened is that we really want to show, I guess, everybody, but perhaps probably the city of Cambridge and also some of the developers here, that to have a really wonderful, lively gallery in the square is something that's missing.
Yes, I would agree.
And it's huge, and we have not ever had one that lasted. Those that are around are not in the square, except for the craftspeople on Church Street, and their lease is being threatened now. So it's very, very hard if you don't have backers. But I think the other thing is it's not just about selling art. It's also about educating people about art.
Like that young girl?
Like the young girl, maybe having an opportunity for teachers to come in here. One of the professors who was here, who teaches art in the museums as a course, said that if she's teaching in January, that she'd like to come in and teach here. So it's that kind of thing that I'd love to be an example for, and also to have things that are fun on a Friday night, have some wine and cheese, have people feel like they can walk in. It's kind of a thing that we're missing, not to say that people don't walk into coffee shops and lots of other things, but that's what our hope is.
Yeah, I think if people asked me, what we needed in Harvard Square, certainly the top of my list is, a gallery, and that's always been at the top of the list for a very long time. So
Yeah.
I'm pleased that you are here. I wish you the best of luck. I hope you have a robust holiday season.
Yes.
We look forward to using the gallery for community events. And the website address before we go?
So it's just millerhavens.com.
Havens.
So it's MILLERHAVENS, all run together.
Great.
.com.
Excellent. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
You bet.